They're here.
The Tommy Boyds show. This must be where pies go when they die.
You're the most cold-blooded man I've ever seen.
Morning. How marvellous it must be to be a young person in 1998. Are you young? Have you young? Gather your young to the radio. I want to celebrate our youth, our younger teenagers. People aged sort of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They really are special. And to illustrate that, let me ask you, if you are in that age bracket, whether post-Pogs, that means to say after we had Pogs, post-Tamagotchis, same thing, you have now shelled out on the latest craze, the latest, wonder gizmo. A yo-yo. Have you bought one? They're everywhere. They're headlining news stories around the world. Free call 0500 1053 89. Have you got your yo-yo? Have you got your new modern yo-yo? With lights, with springs, with special balancing cogs. Listen, if you don't have young teenagers, older children in the home, I'm here to tell you something about what they're spending their money on at the moment. These things are just unbelievable. They've got lights, they've got springs, they've got cogs, they've got adjustable mechanisms. They're built out of some kind of opaque Pyrex with a special type of material which they've made the string out of. And with them, you can't just walk the dog. You can walk several dogs. You can create, a village of cats' cradles. You can send the thing to sleep for so long that Rip Van Winkle will be jogging and showering long before your yo-yo wakes up. Have you bought one? Have you bought one of the new yo-yos? You sucker. You little sucker. Honestly, 12 quid. When you think what we could have bought when we were children with 12 quid on a yo-yo? Free call 0500 1053 89. We're sort of celebrating the nation's older children and younger teenagers. The people whose pogs still litter their bedrooms, whose Tamagotchis are still going weep, 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 weep at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the parents are looking after them, just as the parents tidied up the pogs, for goodness sake. They're paying no attention to those high-tech toys any longer, no, because all of a sudden, and it came from nowhere, it's yo-yos. Free call 0500 1053 89. Yo-yos. Yep, the same yo-yos my generation played with, except they were 1 and 6. And in real terms, that means only, about 3 quid compared to today's £12 for a yo-yo. And there were hula hoops, and there were teddy bears, and there were marbles, and there were tea cards, which came in packets of tea, and you could collect them and stick them in an album, or you could play games with them where you'd flick them against a wall, and there'd be lots of fag cards. We called them fag cards even though they weren't necessarily from cigarette packets. But if one card then landed over another one, then you were the winner and you were entitled to keep all the cards that had fallen to the floor. The point I'm making is this. And I don't know if this means necessarily that, like everybody else, I've turned into a BOF, a boring old F, fool, fart. It does seem to me that crazes a while ago had something to commend them. The yo-yo craze didn't last long when I was a boy, but hula hoops did, and you got some exercise from hula hoops. And teddy bears did, and they're still around, although they're not the craze that they were. But they were a thing about love. Love was what teddy bears were big on. And then there were marbles. Well, marbles were collectibles, and they were beautiful. And there was a game you could play, a competitive game, with 2, 3 and more players with marbles. And with tea cards, again, not only were you collecting something and playing a competitive game, but the things themselves taught you something. Whether you were collecting First Division footballers, or racing drivers, or birds of Great Britain, or the wildflowers of the hedgerows, you were learning. But I don't know about the yo-yo craze. Free call 0500 1053 89. So little is known about the yo-yo. There are those who believe it was once a weapon of war. I can't see that myself, although the far leg of our kitchen table has suffered, we've got them, considerable damage as my son attempts to go over the moon, is it? Or round the world in 80 days or something? I don't know. I know. You don't want to be near when it's happening. The Polynesians apparently used the yo-yo for courtship. It was a long and involved and curious, and we may not go into it, I think we better not, ritual. And the Etruscans, allegedly, according to what research we've managed to get, and you could get it on the back of a tea card, the Etruscans used it as part of their act of worship, and they would fill it with a sweet-smelling herb, which they would ignite, a bit like incense, and then yo-yo up and down the church or wherever they were worshipping. Now, free call 0500 10 53 89. I would like to see if the generation that has invested all this pocket money in a yo-yo, okay, have got what it takes to tell us why they think a yo-yo worth £12 is going to give them £12 worth of valuable entertainment before it ends up in the bottom drawer of the toy chest, never to be seen or played with again. And I reckon they'll last for about 3 weeks. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There is a good argument for listening.
Tommy Boyd.
This is the Central Scrutinizer. It is my responsibility to enforce all the laws that haven't been passed yet.
Has anyone under the age of 15 got what it takes to ring up and say, I have a yo-yo and I'm proud and I did the right thing when I bought this thing? Richard calls from Middlesex. Richard, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Talk Radio.
Yeah.
How old are you?
10.
Have you got a yo-yo?
Yeah.
Ha-ha. Do you fancy an argument?
Yeah.
Good. What a load of old rubbish.
No, they're not.
Why not?
Well, everyone's got one at my... all my friends have got one. They all think they're good. And they're better than the ones which you used to get, because they've now got brains and stuff in, which you can do sleepers with. And they're a bit more exciting. You can do more stuff with them.
Well, you know what teachers always say to you? They say this, they say, if everybody else jumped off a cliff, Richard, would you? They say that, don't they, teachers? Yeah. I hate it when they say that, actually. I think it's a bit feeble. Really. But the point they're making is, just because your friends have got one, why have you got to have one? Why?
I feel a bit left out.
Well, you see, that's a good point. That's a good point. That doesn't make you any more stupid than older teenagers who all get their ears pierced because everybody else does. Or adults who all wear ties to work because you're supposed to. So you're no dafter than anybody else because you follow the crowd, are you?
No.
No. Now, tell me about these brains that these new yo-yos have got then.
Well, they help you do sleepers. They spin around in it, the yo-yo. I don't actually know how they work, but you didn't used to get them in the old yo-yo.
I was going to say, do you think that people like me who think that these yo-yos are a waste of money, do you think we're just jealous?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're better with your yo-yo than we ever were.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much did yours cost?
£3.
Well, you see, that's not so bad, is it? But you can spend more than that, can't you? What's the most expensive one you've ever seen?
Well, my friend's got a £13 one.
That's pretty serious dough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's no better than mine, really.
No, it's only really a bit of plastic on the end of some string, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? How long have you had yours?
Well, I got it last Friday.
Who was the first person round your way, do you think, to yo-yo?
My friend, someone called Perry.
And how did Perry find out that how does something get to be the craze, is what I'm wondering.
Well, he brought a Pro-Yo.
A Pro-Yo?
Sort of before anyone else brought one. And then Tom Hampton, he brought one as well. And then everyone sort of follows Tom around.
Now, do your mum and dad know that you've got a yo-yo?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you yet caught them sneaking a go at it?
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been trying to do sleepers.
Yes, and can they?
My dad just mastered it on Sunday and Mum's been able to do it.
So, but is he as good as you?
No.
No, and that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very. Richard, thank you for your call.
Yeah.
I think you beat me.
Yes.
Yes, which is more educational than yo-yoing. Little parting shot there. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I think a lot of children's toys are sold on the basis to children that if you buy this toy, you will be able to defeat your father. You see, Freud was right. Always remember, Freud was right. And all fathers will have owned a yo-yo when they were children. And the fact that now children can buy, okay, it costs them a few bucks, a toy which they are going to be able to play at a higher level than their dad did, is all part of the nascent appeal of these things. And so what? So what? One of life's great joys when you're growing up is discovering that there is definitely something that you're better at than your dad. Just that I personally haven't found what mine is yet. Anne calls from East Yorks. Anne, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hey, Tommy, you've been done. We paid $1.99 for one in Bridlington, East Yorkshire.
Well, everything's cheaper in the third world,
Oh, go away.
isn't it?
Yeah, but in Hull, a friend...
How much is a bowl of rice in Bridlington?
A friend's son bought one yesterday in Hull for 99p.
3 yards of cotton.
3 yards of cotton.
How much is 3 yards of cotton in East Yorkshire?
What, about 26p?
You see my point? You see my
No,
point?
just
Have you?
because,
Yes.
just because you live in London, you've got to pay £13 for
Has the
one.
rainy season ended yet?
It is gorgeous today.
Really?
It was horrible yesterday, but it is beautiful today. I think summer has arrived.
So are some tourists coming to stay at that nice big hotel up the coast?
It's not there now, is it?
No.
Disintegrated.
It fell into the sea, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, you can still get cheapo ones, Anne.
Yeah.
But have you got the posh ones with
Yes,
lights and
it's got the
springs?
gears and it's got the lights, and my husband can do more things with it than the lad can.
How old's the lad?
He's 9.
He's 9.
Yes.
And you're allowing your husband to triumph. You see, you Yorkshire people, you are so competitive.
But you've got to, haven't you?
No wonder Geoffrey Boycott is a twisted wreck of a man.
Oh, he's a twitch.
Leave him alone. Tell him he's good at something, please. Let your son beat your husband,
Your dad.
please. Let your son beat his dad,
But he's got
please.
to show him how it works.
He's not doing that. He's triumphing.
No, he's not. He's
Well,
not
you-
gloating. Don't call him Tommy.
You Yorkshire people, honestly, you're just too competitive for my
No, they've got
liking.
to be shown how it works.
He's not showing him how it works.
Of course he is.
He's not. He'd never give an inch, your old man, would he?
So you don't have a go on your sons?
No.
Oh, you lie. I bet
I
you've got
am-
one of your own, haven't you?
Can I tell you one thing? I only have one thing. This is the truth. I never lie. If you go on the radio and you start lying, right, you're sunk. Who wants to listen to somebody who they don't believe?
But you exaggerate a heck of a lot.
I don't, actually. Excuse me. Give me an example.
All the time.
What? When? One? Give me
All
one.
the time. You just do. I can't think of one, but
No.
you just do.
No, I deal in truth, friend. And no, I haven't had a go at my boy's yo-yo yet, and I'm not going to. And if I did, right, I would let him know that he's better at it than I am. A, because he is, and B, because that's how, that's what dads should do.
But I bet you've got one stashed away somewhere, so you
Of course
can...
I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Of course I haven't,
bet you
woman.
have.
I never did any of those crazes.
Oh, I don't believe it.
No.
You must have done on Magpie. You had things like that on Magpie.
Oh, I showed other people. That's what some people thought was a good idea, but I didn't necessarily believe in the morality of promoting crazes. I don't think they're good for mankind generally.
Of course they are when they're cheap.
Pardon?
Of course they are when they're cheap.
The yo-yo, though, has the least to offer of all the crazes you can think of. Hula hoops, good exercise, marbles, collectibles, gave you a competitive game. Teddy bears, they're all about love and collecting. Tea cards, ditto. Buy a yo-yo, and what have you got? A cheap trick. And people walk away after 30 seconds. They go, oh, that's good.
Well, if
and then
you
they're
only
gone.
pay... Yeah, but if you only pay $1.99 for them, that's fair enough. That's okay. Go on to something else next.
All right, so the best you can say for the yo-yo is that in East Yorkshire, it's cheap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. But most of all, cheaper than anywhere else.
Definitely.
And you're not competitive, are you?
Not really.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're talking about yo-yos if you just arrived. It was Pogs and then it was Tamagotchis, but they are the toys of yesterday already. It's the yo-yo now, and you now can spend 12 quid on them. And I want to know why. And I want the argument with people who have bought one, whether it's with their own paper round money or their pocket money. They've got lights and springs and cogs and stuff, and they're made of, well, it looks like reasonably expensive plastic, but is there any such thing? Have you bought one? I think they're a waste of time. Give me a ring and tell me I'm wrong. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. You know.
It's really fun though. And my dad thought it was a really big waste of money.
Did he? Good for him.
And then he was having a go, and he really enjoyed it then, and he wanted me to teach him. And then when he couldn't do it, he didn't want to try anymore.
So you're better at it than your dad?
Yeah.
Well, that feels nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what tricks can you do with it?
Can sleep it, rock the cradle, round the world, walk the dog.
How long will it be before you're fed up with it and it goes in a drawer?
Oh, it was out here about 2 months ago, and I'm bored of it already.
Hang on a second, this is interesting. I've got somebody from Swansea who sells these things, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder whether he sold you yours. You never know, do you? Stay with us, Leanne.
Right.
Let me bring Richard in on the conversation, who, as I said, is also calling from Swansea. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Tommy.
Leanne, where did you buy your yo-yo from?
Street Blades.
Is that you, Richard?
No, it's not me.
Oh, well.
And I wouldn't sell one at £13. I think it's a big rip-off.
Okay, but are they good for business?
Very.
Oh.
Very.
How many can you sell then in a day?
On a good Sunday, up to 300.
300?
Yep.
And what's the markup on your Johnnies?
Ooh. About 60%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite a tidy Sunday cash in hand, isn't it?
Yes. One and a half. Well, it's about £1.50.
Are you any good at yo-yoing?
Fair.
Fair.
I've got a 10-year-old, so I've got no choice.
How much are they?
£1.50.
Because if you buy those 150 ones, then they break easy.
Uh-huh.
No.
And then you have to buy loads of them, and then you've spent the money already.
My son had one of your £7.95 yo-yos, and it lasted him 2 weeks.
Mine's
Thought it'd
still
be completely
working. I've had
shattered.
it a few months.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Tell him, Leanne, he's a dodgy street trader. He's a Del Boyo.
Yeah, because I bought two before I bought my
All right, then
brain.
I'll tell you the next craze that's coming in, Tommy.
Yeah, go on then.
Rubik Cubes are back.
Oh, no!
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was at the warehouse last week, and they're shipping them in like there's no tomorrow. Yes, so everybody get ready for the Rubik Cube.
You're the devil's seed, Richard.
I can't
sorry,
stand
Tom.
Rubik Cubes.
Leanne,
I can't stand them.
I predict this. Before Christmas, you will own two. A full-sized one and one of those little keyring ones.
I can't stand them.
You'll get one,
I'll have to agree with you there, Tommy.
because your friends will. And you'll feel left out, Leanne. Thank you for your call.
Right.
Sucker.
Bye.
Richard,
Tommy,
you black heart.
I'm sorry, Tom, but I
You
looked in
vicious.
total amazement.
Cruel. Why don't you sell something socially acceptable?
I'm not carrying Rubik Cubes.
Why don't you sell toy guns, pop guns?
Water pistols, the other thing I get good with.
They were fantastic. There was a toy gun when I was a boy called a Sekiden gun that fired little clay balls. Fantastic.
I haven't seen one of those.
Yeah, well, it was a while back. You could tell where you hit your mate. You know, you could get him in the back if he was running away, or you could catch him in the chest if he was bearing down on you.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those ones. Oh, my
There's
wife's
been-
shouting at me now.
There's been a bit of a movement away from toy guns. I know, I'll let you go. Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. So, being parents in a liberal age, we said, Jane and I, then we won't buy the boy any guns. We won't buy the boy any guns. So we didn't. And then to see him at the age of 5, this is our oldest, who's now 11, out in the garden, finds a stick, and never having seen a sword fight, immediately starts sword fighting with it. And then before we know where we are, and this really astonished me, it's almost as though, you know, there's something in reincarnation or something. He's charging through the bushes, bearing down on the cat, going, with the stick. So he wanted toy guns, he got toy guns. You know, and he's not going to join the SAS or anything unmentionable. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Nathan calls from Gloucestershire. Nathan, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hi, Tommy.
Nathan.
I love your show.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
There.
Yeah.
Have you got a yo-yo?
Yep, I
Sucker.
have 4 of them.
Sucker, 4 times over.
Yeah. Well, I got the first one from Alton Towers at £3.
Right.
Yeah, confiscated by headmaster.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, are head teachers allowed to steal something from somebody?
Don't know.
Does it say in the contract when you go to school that your parents agree that your head teacher can steal things from you and keep them?
I don't know. Probably not.
No, I mean, this is 1998, you know. Dickens is dead. Anyway, so you're down to 3 now, are you?
Yeah, my second one, well, I threw it down really hard and it just exploded. So I had to go and get another one. And I've got it next to me.
Right.
Lovely, like, clear one. And my next door neighbour got me one.
Right. Where are they made, all these things?
China, Taiwan.
I'll bet. Have you no conscience, man? Have you no conscience? Do you know what those sweatshops are like?
Yeah, I know what they're like.
Do you know what they're like? Do you know what 12-year-old boys do in China?
Cool stuff.
What?
Cool stuff.
They beaver away from before dawn until after dusk, making your yo-yos for twopence a day. Which
They
they
really
take...
should be paid more.
What?
They should be paid more.
Well, if they were paid more, then you wouldn't be able to afford the yo-yos, would you? They'd be about 150 quid.
People would save up and people would still buy them. Bad.
You're putting up a fairly good argument. I'm impressed. What age are you again?
12.
12. Thank you for your call.
Okay.
Nice to talk to you.
Alright.
Have you got any guns?
An air rifle. 177 caliber.
How old are you?
12. I haven't got any ammo for it because I fired it all off.
Ammo.
Okay.
No, don't go. Don't go. You can't. I have to talk to you about this thing. I don't know what the laws are with air guns. I don't think you're entitled to own one at 12.
Well, they're not handguns. So
No, I know that. Well, nobody's entitled to own a handgun. You can be 112 and you still can't have a handgun anymore. Thank goodness. But I don't know what the law is with air rifles. I think you'll find that it actually belongs to your father or mother, Nathan.
Yeah, my dad.
That's all right, then.
But mum and dad got divorced, so I don't actually see him much nowadays.
No, well, that was why I said your mum or your dad, Nathan, because these days you just never know what somebody's familial configuration is, you see. You don't.
Always got to be polite.
Yes. So you're looked after by your dad?
No, my mum.
Your mum? And you don't see your dad much?
No, he came round a couple of days ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
But it's his air gun.
Yeah.
But he lets you have access to it under supervision.
Yep.
I'm helping you through all this so that you don't get a phone call or visit, you know. Well, have a nice summer holiday.
Yeah. You are brilliant.
Very nice to talk to you. So are you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tom.
1 minute, half of you is an ovum and half of you is a sperm. 9 months later, you've got 70 or 80 years of being here. With all that attends. A little philosophical moment there. Back on track now, discussing yo-yos, taking them to the cleaners. Jake has called from London. Jake, you are on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hiya.
Jake.
I'm known as Dr. Yo-Yo, and I think they should have a warning on them.
Yes.
Over 18s only.
Yes.
Because they're quite dangerous. Especially when children of 5 or 6 buy them.
Yes, and addictive.
Unfortunately, I mean, the parents come in, they're having nervous breakdowns, and they've got black eyes from children flinging them in their faces.
In fact, I think they should only sell yo-yos at the prescription counter of the major high street chemists.
And if you've got a bank balance of a few hundred quid. Because I bought my £30 one today.
Yes.
And I'm quite proud.
Yes.
It's quite good. So.
Now, you're 15.
I am.
And are you yet interested in romance?
Well, how to do yo-yos, I don't know, but I'll tell you anyway. I've sort of got a girlfriend.
Right.
And I haven't spoken to her since summer holidays so far.
Fine. I don't want the gory details. I'm just asking this. Once you reach your middle teens, are yo-yos any good for impressing the opposite sex?
Well, the trouble is, if you haven't mastered them yet, and you hit someone in the face,
yes,
or in the lower regions,
yes,
then it's not too good. I mean, I've seen some people fitting about like 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
And everyone drops their mouths, but they walk away after a few seconds.
Mm.
And they go, well, that was good.
Yes.
You know, they're quite good.
If you're not careful, you could look a bit geeky with a yo-yo.
The trouble is, they go very fast, some of them.
Yes.
And they don't know the power of them.
No.
And these little children, like 5 years old, they can rocket up into the sky with them.
Mm.
They're quite, in the shop, for instance, we're quite cramped in here.
Mm.
And half the stock falls off the shelves.
Mm.
Everyone's thinking about, and all the mothers are coming and saying, oh, I haven't got that money to buy that, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. And the children are, like, pulling at their skirts, trying to persuade them to spend, like, 16 quid on this plastic thing when it's a piece of string.
Jake, thank you for your call. I'll let you get on. It sounds busy where you are. I took a phone call just before we came on the air from a man in Blackburn who said that the transmitter had gone down in the Blackburn area, and that so nobody in the Blackburn area could hear talk radio. So now would be a good time if you want to call and rubbish Blackburn generally, because they won't be able to hear you, and so you won't get in any way torn to pieces. Free call 0500 1053 89. Who loves Blackburn? Nobody. Steve calls from Cheshire. You're on Talk Radio, Steve. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, well, I've got to say, they're really good fun. When you're bored, they're good. Really? I got mine for £5, and when I'm bored and got nothing to do, I just get it and they're really good.
But what about a book? What about a book or a football? Or what about a toy pellet gun with a rubber sucker thing on the end of it so you can fire it at windows and all it does is stick to them?
Boring.
Boring?
I got this for £5 and it's really good. You can do all tricks and...
Do you not play war games anymore, you boys? No?
Too old for that.
When was the last time you had a good game of war?
About 5 years ago.
And when you played war 5 years ago, who were the enemy? Because when I was a boy, it was always the Germans. And we'd be attacking the Germans. And our friends would say, no, we don't want to be the Germans. And we'd say, you have to be the Germans because we were the Germans at morning break.
Right.
Right, so which country are the enemy when you played war?
Wait, my friends just annoyed me. Right? Say that again, please.
Which country were the enemy when you played war at school?
Germans.
Germans still? Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Not the Argentines or the Russians or...
No.
No?
No.
Or the Iranians, or Iraqis even. I wonder whether some schools they had wars and said, you're the Iraqis and we're the Americans. I wonder. Anyway, Steve, thank you for your call.
All right, okay.
I'm glad you're not bored anymore. What was the last book you read?
The Christopher Pike horror thing.
Yeah, I know. Good a bit of horror, isn't it? Yeah. All right, thanks for your call. Ta-da.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for calling. Becky calls from Leicester. Becky, you are on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
I'd just like to say that I think you're right about the parents.
Yeah.
That they like to have one up on the children.
Yes.
Because my mum does, and she likes to think she's better at yo-yoing than we are.
Yes.
To prove that she's not over the hill yet.
Well, I'm so glad you said this because the head of my education bureau here on this show at Talk Radio has been saying for some weeks that he believes that when you fill in a form and it asks you to specify your parent or guardian, most children could quite rightly say, I haven't got either. Because what we have nowadays, what children have nowadays, are elder brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Because your parents refuse to grow up, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And it must be very confusing for you.
It is.
Wouldn't you rather your parents were, a bit sort of boring and tweedy and stayed in at night and went to bed early with a hot milky drink?
Hello?
Wayne calls from Essex. A technical.
Hi, Tommy.
Wayne, you've leapfrogged the queue. We've got a technical at this end. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll bore you instead by talking to you.
Yo-yos,
Yo-yos, thank you.
They're wonderful.
Yes.
They're fantastic, man. I mean, you can have hours and hours of fun with them. I mean, I bought one, my 11th one, just had a count, 11th one last Monday. It's got a little, takes a little battery and it lights up. It lights up and it makes, do you want me to go and get it now?
No, because yo-yos don't make good radio.
No, well, you can hear the noise on it though.
I'd really get by without having...
Oh, it's a fantastic...
heard that.
They really are fantastic.
Yes.
My girlfriend, she doesn't like them though. She
you
says,
slipped that one in pretty quick, didn't you? Just getting ahead of me there. I was going to ask if you were a lonely boy.
No, but she says that they're immature.
Yeah.
And she sort of gets several times that it's yo-yos or me.
How interesting. So, what's her name?
Marianne.
So Marianne has said to you, Wayne...
Yeah. She said, well, you're too old to be messing about with yo-yos.
Here is the ultimatum, Wayne. It's either Marianne...
Yeah.
Or your yo-yos.
Yes, yeah.
And if it really came to the crunch, it would be your yo-yos?
Well, it's a difficult choice, isn't it, really? I mean...
Is she not impressed with your manual dexterity?
She She was at first, but now she's like...
The strength and coordination in your fingers.
Well, this is it. She was at first. Now, like, she just gets bored of it, you know. She says just a craze.
Yes.
I mean, I've had yo-yos for a long time.
How old are your parents?
How old are my parents? Why?
I was just wondering whether you suffer from the same elder brother and sister syndrome that so many young people do.
No, my mum's 50 and my dad's 47.
But do they act like that?
Yeah, they do,
It's very important that parents don't try to come and meet their children halfway, you know. We need them to, for example, watch Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And go, I can't understand a word they're singing, and where's the melody in that? You know? But they don't, do they? They start tapping their feet.
Tommy, but where did you get your subjects from to talk about? I mean, yo-yos are fantastic, but it's a funny sort of thing to talk about on the radio, isn't it?
Yes, it is. What we do is we talk about what people talk about. Because people talk about yo-yos. You see?
I haven't heard many people talking about them, other than a few of my friends, like, well, they got yo-yos, but I mean, it's not really sort of a current affair sort of thing, is it, yo-yos?
Well, it is if people are doing it, and it's the latest craze.
Yeah, okay.
Well, interesting. You see, you're like a lot of people your age, you're trying to find out what's real and unreal in the world, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you thought there was this idea that there's certain things that are like real, well, for example, real radio.
Yeah.
Now, real radio, you talk about the current state of the peace process in Northern Ireland, and international tension elsewhere in the world.
And several of your wind-ups on the radio as well.
But nobody talks about that, because generally speaking, people don't give a stuff about that.
Well, it gives people something to ring up about. You sort of, you put the bullets in and they fire them, sort of thing. That's how I find, and I've been listening to you for a little while now.
Yeah. Don't try and keep up with me, just listen, because I'm explaining something.
Go on.
And if you try and keep up with me, then you'll be mentally rehearsing something fairly clever to say whilst you should actually be listening.
Right.
And then when you've listened, you might know the answer to the question that you asked.
Right.
Okay. What you find is that when parents get together, right, they will say, how's it with you, how's it with you? Then they'll go, and what's going on with your children? And they'll say, yo-yos. And then they're off.
They're off?
They're off. Yakking about what a rip-off they are, yakking about how these things always come round, so what's going to be next.
Why are they a rip-off?
Well, because they're a waste of money.
In your opinion?
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, if you don't actually buy them yourself then, other than for your kids?
No, I never bought anything like that. Not even when I was younger than you did I fall for any of the crazes like you have. Because you fall for them big time, haven't you? You've got 11, haven't you?
Yeah,
you are a serious sucker, aren't you?
Serious? Did you say... God, I won't repeat what I thought you said, but never mind.
No, I said you are a sucker.
Oh, sucker.
Yes.
Oh, right.
You are a sucker.
Yeah, right.
For, you know, crazes.
Yeah, but...
a dupe.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Rubik's
pushover.
Cube. The Rubik's Cube was very popular at one time, wasn't it?
And that's what's coming back, and you'll have 12 of those in about a year's time.
No,
bet you do.
No, I'll never buy it. I bought one. I never mastered it.
Anyway, would you rather argue about this or about international peace?
International peace.
Right, well, that's Radio 5. It's about an inch down the dial, okay?
Okay then, Tommy.
All right.
Well, Tommy.
Have a lovely time
Tommy,
down there.
What's the subject for tomorrow, anyway?
Tomorrow? I don't know. You don't say to somebody, what should we talk about when we meet tomorrow?
No, but your what's the word, manager, I mean, he normally gets you the stuff to talk about, doesn't he, or do you do it all yourself?
They don't tell me what to talk about before you start talking about it. I never know until 10 to 3.
Oh, I thought normally you do a little bit of homework beforehand.
The conversation doesn't work like that.
Oh, I see.
You know, you pitch up and then you decide what to talk about. That's how it is with friends.
Can I just say, like, to Marianne, that I do love her, despite my yo-yos, I do love her very much. Okay?
And you're quite a catch. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Yo-yos. Have you bought one? You have, haven't you? Sucker. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. Listen up. On here.
A populist identification with the underdog against the powerful and the fraudulent.
Talk Radio.
Nudge, nudge.
Who's the target?
Yoyos, that's what's the target. Sammy calls from Bristol. Sammy?
Yep.
What a waste of money.
I saw them on the news last week, and I think they look good to do tricks with, so I went out and bought one.
Yeah.
I thought it's quite good, and the best thing really about it is every time it breaks,
Yes.
it's good to fix them.
Yes. But they don't fix very well, though. You can't really yo-yo with a pre-broken yo-yo.
No, like the clutch inside breaks.
Clutch.
You get
clutch! The clutch! Have you got clutch problems with your yo-yo?
Yeah.
Is your dad around?
No, he's at work.
Is at work? When he gets home, tell him you've been having clutch problems with your yo-yo.
I fixed all my friends in there.
And tell him that you fixed it yourself.
Yeah.
Ask him whether he can do the same thing.
Right.
What does he drive?
An R-Edge Ford Escort Estate.
Oh, that'll be 400 quid if it happens to him. Sammy, thank you for your call. Free call 0500 1053 89. Now, I've been told now that the whole of the north of England is unable to listen to this programme, which is fantastic, because they've had a technical thing on a mast or something. You know how it works. They've all been ringing up saying help. But it means that we can have a jolly good pop, which we will. Ronnie calls from Perth. Ronnie, you're on Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Ronnie.
I was just wondering how on earth the yo-yo could possibly have a comeback before the spud gun.
Yes.
Good thing about the spud gun, of course, Tommy, was you could stick it in the end of the potato, break that wee bit off, and fire it at children's television presenters without breaking the telly.
Yeah. Shall we ever go out the north of England, since they can't listen and they can't answer back? Shall we?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I don't really know very much about it, Tommy.
What, the north of England? Well, they hate it if you say that they've all got flat caps and they all walk whippets and race pigeons and,
but that was the goodies in Ecky Thump.
And eat peas pudding with their fish and chips and, all those... da-da-da-da-da-da. They're all like that.
Yes.
They hate that. They hate it if you say that they're all flat caps.
Yeah, is that anywhere near Bolton? Is that not up there somewhere?
No, Bolton can't hear us at the moment. Do you want to have a pop at Bolton?
Yeah, my wife and I went on holiday a few years ago, and we met this incredibly boring guy who latched onto us. One of these people obviously wanted to be away with other people, but had no friends.
Yeah.
And he was from Bolton.
Bolton, what a dump.
Tony,
what a plonker. They all talk. Can you talk? No, fun rummer.
Hey, nay, lad.
Let's sing a song, shall we? Let's get everybody up who has called the programme.
Yep.
We'll get up, we'll bring in Andrew in Sunderland. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah.
Good. Do you fancy a little sing-song in a second?
Yeah, please, Tommy.
Good. Jane in Romford as well. Jane, are you there?
No, I can't sing.
Well, you'll join in anyway.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to sing The North of England Cannot Hear Us. Come on.
The North of England cannot hear us.
The North of England cannot hear us. Then when you've done that, you go, E-by gum, right, flat, hat, whip it. Okay. Ready?
E-by gum what?
E-by gum, lad, flat cap, whip it.
Oh, right.
Right, here we go. Ready? The North of England cannot hear us. The North of England cannot hear us. The North of England cannot hear us. E-by gum, lad, flat cap, whip it. Fantastic. That'll teach you, won't it, eh?
Certainly will.
Thank you very much indeed, gang. Nice to talk to you. Let's bring Joan into the conversation in Bradford. Joan, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hello, Tommy.
Joan.
It's very quiet in my house and very boring.
Oh, you're in the north of England?
I'm in Bradford.
Fantastic. And you can't hear any of what we're transmitting?
Not a thing. You've been off since 2 minutes to 3.
But you didn't... Did you hear the song?
I just heard that. It was awful.
Sorry about that. You won't tell anybody in the north of England, will you, that we were taking the Michael?
Well, no. We're used to it. And we're big enough to cope with it.
Are you? Well, do you want to sing it then?
No, not likely.
The North... Come on, the North of England. Come on, you could get away with it. You'd never get beaten up in Bradford for this.
I've got a sweet in my mouth.
What?
I've got a sweet in my mouth.
Well, take it out.
No, I'm not.
You can do that.
No, listen, I want to... First of all, what's happening down there?
What do you mean, down where?
In London.
Oh, loads. It's
Why
fantastic.
are you not transmitting up here?
No, it's fantastic. London is great. The whole of the country's great. It's having a party, and the north of England doesn't know.
Well,
it's great, man. First of all...
Grossly unfair.
First of all, Russia's declared war, and their missiles are heading for the north of England now, and so the transmitter's down.
All right.
You're all going to be incinerated, and we are having a party.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
And we're all naked and dancing in the streets.
That's disgusting.
What?
naked and dancing in the street.
You'd love it if you had half the chance.
You know I would. You're
We
right.
all would. We all would. Why don't we do more? Why don't we have more naked adult parties?
Oh, you wouldn't say that if you saw some of the bodies round here.
Oh, I think all bodies are beautiful.
No.
They are.
No.
It was just broken a curious dream I had last night about my wife, which I'd totally forgotten about.
Really?
Yes, thank you for that.
Oh, well, pleasant dream.
Well,
listen, how long are we going to be before we can... Because it's going to be Peter Daly time.
yeah, well, and you might miss Peter and Tough and,
Well, I've missed Tommy and 2 minutes of Anna.
Yeah, actually, it's footy this afternoon, not Peter.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Who's playing?
Chelsea.
Just doesn't team. Mind you, we've not got much to shout about up here. I mean, we've got Bradford City.
Bradford. The
And
Bradfords.
I think your team beat them last year, didn't they? Anyway, they're going to do wonders this year.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
And that's a very tough division you're in at the moment, Mrs.
I know, but they've
Yeah.
spent a fortune at Bradford City.
No, well, a fortune in their terms.
Well, it's a lot of money in Bradford.
Oh,
I mean, they've
yeah,
just
but
paid
petrol money-
£900,000 for Abu.
Petrol money in Sheffield, dear, isn't it?
Oh,
Hey?
don't be like that.
Hey?
Listen, I've
What?
not a lot to shout about in Bradford
No,
at
you
the
haven't,
moment.
no.
But we're going to have. Think positive.
Flat caps.
Listen. They don't wear flat caps now.
Yeah, well,
They wear these stupid American things now. My dad always
Baseball
wore a
caps.
flat cap.
yeah, in Bradford.
Apart from Sunday.
Did he used to walk in the road?
No.
No,
Only when he was moving out of the way for a lady.
Yeah, okay.
Because they do that, Yorkshiremen. Well, true old Yorkshiremen. I couldn't say that about today's generation.
Joan, it's been nice talking to you. Nobody will ever know in your neck of the woods that we had the conversation.
Do you know, they won't, you're right, but I just want to know how long I've got to put up with this.
I don't know,
I'm going to
mate.
have to go to Radio Leeds.
Oh, well, seriously, we're working on it. You know what they say? They always say, an engineer is working on it now.
Well, just tell him to put some extra body into it and get it back going.
Yeah, we'll do
All
that.
right, then.
All right,
I shall
darling.
hope to listen to you tomorrow.
Same here.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
Free call 0500 1053 89, and apparently as well vast stretches of central Scotland can't hear us either. So we'll have a pop at the Jocks in a moment as well. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
Tommy Boyd.
It's time to poison the water hole.
Cutting edge. Tommy Boyd.
Sucks less.
I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
And next on the list, it's the Jocks. That's assuming that their transmitter's still out. Kevin calls from Surrey. Kevin, you're on Talk Radio. Hello.
Hello, Tommy. I need your help.
Okay.
I'm surrounded by all these yo-yos, and I think I need counselling. Can you do anything for me?
For you?
Well, yes. I mean...
Whose are they?
Well, they're my wife's, you see, and all my families and my neighbours. She works for one of these people that are responsible for all this yo-yo craze.
Right.
Unfortunately, it gets worse. I've even had the world champion yo-yo player staying in my house.
That is sad, isn't it?
And it's been grim, the neighbours have turned into nerds.
Yeah.
And what can I do about it?
Well, first of all, the world champion yo-yo person.
Yeah.
Boring geek or what?
He's a bit fixated.
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable thing.
Got a range of conversation, has he?
Well, no, he can tell you that he's been doing it for 14 years. And he runs a museum in America.
I'll bet he
about
does.
it.
I'll bet he does.
He does, yes.
Yeah, I'll bet he does.
And he's got strings and bits and... all the strings and the components.
Does he know the history of the yo-yo?
Everything.
Oh, my God.
From the early days right back into biblical times.
Has he written to Blue Peter and suggested
He's
himself?
been on it.
Oh!
He's been on everything.
Oh,
I believe he's going to be on that funny thing on Saturdays where they spin balls and, they come out of this machine.
The lottery?
Apparently.
Holy shamoly.
You must see it.
No.
I mean, I'm locked in my office.
I quite like Carol Smiley.
Who's that?
The girl.
What girl?
On the lottery.
I've never seen it.
Tall girl.
I'm being forced to watch it for the first time.
I never normally fall for people on the television, but I don't know what it is about her. She just looks...
Are you sure you should be making these sorts of disclosures?
Oh, most certainly. I'd rather fantasize about Carol Smiley than even think about the American world yo-yo champion.
Definitely.
Who knows a bit about the history of the thing.
And unfortunately, my wife has been organising his itinerary, and he's been off around the UK, and he's off around Europe, and... I mean, there's got to be a solution to this. What do you suggest?
Well, there is no solution. What I will say is this. I will pass this on to you, although it is of no use to you.
Oh.
Years ago, I worked on a television programme, which used to go out quite early on a Saturday morning. And we used to have people like the world yo-yo champion on it. And the programme used to come from a building with a sunken well, which was where we used to keep all the people who were about to guest on the show. And so, at about 7 o'clock in the morning, you could look over these banisters, and down below you, you would see grown men who could juggle and spin plates whilst on a unicycle and yo-yo and do tricks with a sea lion, stuff like that. And there'd be about a dozen of them down there, all practicing their thing, whatever it was. And we all used to look at each other as though we knew any better, and we would say, how many and varied are the ways in which people get through their precious lives?
But you see, are they right or are we right?
Quite, good
Difficult,
point.
Isn't it?
Oh, that's there. I'm there with you on that one.
You know, we could be accused of missing out.
Who's a bigger geek, all right? Somebody who's got 10 yo-yos, me, stood here doing what I do, or you on the phone talking to me? Who's to say which is the geek?
Well, we're getting very philosophical, Tommy. I'm not really sure about that.
I love it. I love it. I wouldn't be at all surprised you give Gandhi a yo-yo and he'd have been away.
But you're suggesting I go out into my garden and dig a well?
No,
right,
you
okay,
really...
fine, good.
I thought you were listening. Free call 0500. Turn page 10. 1053, 1089. In the next hour of the programme, we'll take a look at Britain's armed forces and ask what is the way forward there. This is Talk Radio. There is a good argument for listening.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.